Hi guys. Okay, so this is Pillsbury dough, like a knockoff. This is homemade, not no preservatives. Debatable whether or not everything's healthy, but for the most part, I would say we're good healthy. I am going to use sugar in this recipe just to show you, but I would say that sugar is probably totally optional. I haven't made it without sugar, but I might do that just to see. But I'm sure it would be fine without sugar. So you've got 2.5 cups of flour. 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm using pink Himalayan. 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, and I will put this down in the bottom so that you have it. 1 tablespoon of sugar, and dry active yeast, 1/2 tablespoon, and you add all those together. Then you want warm water, 3/4 cup of warm water, and 1 tablespoon of butter. And I am going to heat those in a pan together because you want it warm, and I will be back. Okay guys, so water and butter, I just melted together. Just pour that in. And I can find a spoon. Stir it up. And then you want to get a piece of parchment paper together, ready. And all you're going to do is cover this and let it sit for 1/2 hour. And that's it. Not quite as easy as walking into the store and buying a roll, but pretty darn easy. I will be back in 1/2 hour when this is ready to go. So while we're waiting for the dough to do its little rising thing, we're going to do the apples. I have 2. I'm going to do an apple and a blueberry after I show you what you can do with this dough. These are the apples. They're in some water and citric acid to keep them from turning brown. And I'm going to rinse them really quick. While that butter gets soft. Sorry about that. So you want about 2 tablespoons of butter in a pan. And then you're going to add your apples. And what you're trying to do here is just soften them up. You just don't want them hard and crunchy. So you're cooking them in the butter. And some cinnamon. Get to my cinnamon. Got it. All right. I like a lot of cinnamon. I'm a cinnamon freak. I do not add sugar to this, but you can if you want to. I think at this point in time, being totally like vegan, no sugar, you know, no flour, all that kind of stuff is asking a lot of people. I would just be really happy if everybody stopped consuming all these chemicals and all these preservatives that they're putting in food. So I don't get too crazy about sugar or salt or flour or anything like that. That is totally on you to decide what your diet should be or what you want it to be. You know, if you want to go vegan and you don't want to eat any kind of breads or any of that kind of stuff, then I totally get it, and that is your choice. But I think the vast majority of people enjoy eating food. I just would like to see people not be consuming all of these toxic preservatives. I think that a lot of our illness is because of those, not because of sugar. I think they want to, you know, demonize sugar, which sugar's, you know, not good in the quantities that people are consuming now. But you hear a lot of stuff about, oh, sugar is terrible for you. They're talking about people who are getting up in the morning, dumping, you know, 3 tablespoons of sugar in their coffee. Once they're finished with their coffee, they're drinking their soda pops, and they drink soda pop all day long. They're consuming foods that have corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup, which is just deadly amounts of sugar. I don't think that a tablespoon of sugar in a bread dough recipe is going to be like a major thing in your life. And I don't think you should necessarily try to avoid that unless that's what makes you happy. I think it's just fine to have a, you know, couple tablespoons of sugar a day. The only time it's a problem is if you have mass amounts of sugar that you're consuming on a daily basis, then it's going to be a problem. And it doesn't matter really what that is. I mean, if it's mass amounts of anything you're consuming on a daily basis, then that one particular thing is going to be a problem. But in this day and age, they're literally putting sugar in every prepackaged food. I mean, they just, corn syrup, high fructose corn syrups, dextrose, you know, and sadly, it's not even good sugar either. You know, it's like the worst sugar you could have. And by good sugar, I mean like, you know, a natural sugar like stevia or honey or, you know, something in that category. I think these are probably good at this point. Now, these are blueberries. These are organic Maine blueberries, and I have added chia seeds to them. I did not add any sugar. Again, I don't think it's really necessary because you got the fructose from the fruit. I don't like things that are really heavily sugared, so I think this is fine. You've got like a tablespoon in the dough. You've got none in here other than the sugar that comes in the apples, and same here, just the sugar that comes in the blueberries naturally. And I'm going to show you a couple ways you can do this dough, and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with it. And I think these are good enough because we're going to bake it. And I'm just going to put a lid on here. Whoops, wrong lid. Let's try this one. It's a little bigger. So that they have time to soften up. And we will get to the dough. I think I can move this so that you're not thrown all over. Okay, so here's our dough. And it's been sitting for half an hour. So we're going to take it out, plop it down. And we're going to split this into two. It's a very nice kind of squishy, buttery dough. I'm not sure if I will need flour on this. What I need is for this parchment not to move. I'm just going to flatten this out a bit. And I don't think it'll stick because of the amount of butter that's in it, but we'll see. And this is pretty much the end of your dough. You can square this off. And you can leave it as a sheet. If you want, or you can cut it like so, in half, and then half again. And if you want to make croissants, you just cut it in triangles. And you can freeze it just like that. So if you want easy croissants, all you're going to do, this is too big of a piece, is just roll it just like this. And then you're going to put it in a freezer bag and put it in the freezer. And all you have to do is pull it out and make whatever you're going to make. For croissants, you can put fillings in these. So like if you want ham or cheese, or cheese, tomato sauce, you can put that here, and you want to roll it like this so that you get a nice little croissant. And you can cook them just like this, or like I said, you can put filling in them. So roll them with the fat end first to the small end. You can leave this as a sheet in case you want to make some kind of Pop-Tart or, you know, something like that. And you just fill them with your apples or the blueberries and pop them in the oven about 350 for about 20-25 minutes probably. Your filling's already cooked, so it's not a big deal. What I am going to do is a little easier than messing with all of that, and I'm not putting this into the freezer. So I am just going to lightly roll this out just so it's a little flat. And I don't have anything holding my parchment paper again. I don't want it too thin because what I'm going to do is make some little small circles, throw them into this pan, and we're going to do this with the whole sheet of dough in one pan. This is a little easy way to do it without too much headache or hassle, but the other way is really good too. And the other way, like if you do croissants, or let's say you make like oh, what do they call those things? I think they call them Pop-Tarts that they sell in the store. You can make Pop-Tarts out of them with cinnamon and sugar, or, you know, I'm not like real worried about getting exact pieces here, circles. But anyway, you can put like cinnamon and sugar in them. You can freeze them after you've made them. Just put them in a freezer bag, and you can pop them in the, like a toaster oven or an actual toaster, and heat them up. Some toasters, like my toaster, has a, oh, what do you call that, like a frozen setting, and that works really good. So this is one, we're making a blueberry and an apple. That's why I'm doing both of them. I don't need any in the freezer. And I just made this video so you guys could see what I do. So there's the other one. Just cut them up. I just like the chunks. It kind of all blends together when you bake it, but you could cut these up too. You don't have to use a cookie cutter. It just seemed like the right thing to do. It was there. But this is a very versatile recipe. It's really super easy to do. You can literally make it up in an evening. It's not like you would spend a whole lot of time on it. And you could make some homemade ice cream, which also doesn't have preservatives, just milk and sugar, and maybe some fruit. I would not recommend eating ice cream from the store. but I don't recommend eating anything from the store anymore because it's all bad. Very, very bad. Okay. As you know, if you watched the first video on all the preservatives that are in the store-bought version of this, then you have heard firsthand all the bad stuff that's in that food. And I don't know why they insist on putting all that stuff in there. They're really not preserving anything. The other thing is that the taste of food that you make at home is so much better than the taste with the preservatives in it. Okay, so this is what we have. 2 containers. And we're going to get our blueberries. And we're going to put our blueberries and chia seeds on top of this. Just smooth it out as best you can. And we're going to look at our apples. They look perfectly wonderful. We're going to dump our apples in here. This is actually apples and butter. And we're going to put these in the oven on 350 degrees for about 25 minutes. And you can just kind of check it and see what it looks like. But I'll be back when they're done. Okay guys, so this is it. Done in the pan. I'm going to cut you out a piece, but on this apple, you can take just powdered sugar and some heavy cream and mix that together, and then you can just drizzle that over the top. Of course, if you don't want the added sugar, you don't have to do it. I'm not going to do it on the blueberry, only on the apple. And that's only because I made the apple a little on the thick side, just so I could add this to it. But you can actually add more butter when you're cooking the apples, which will give it a little bit more juice. But the blueberry had plenty of juice, and I want it a little bit less sugary. So let me show you. How these come out. Guess I should have got this stuff ready before. This dough comes out very light and fluffy. Just trying to make sure I've got it off the sides. Oops. So there's your blueberry. Yummy, yummy blueberry. There's still some blueberries in here. And as you can see, you can vary this however you like. You know, when you're buying store-bought products, you're kind of bound to what they gave you. But when you're making it yourself, you can decide how you want it to go. And my dog is standing here looking at me like, are you talking to me? And here is the apple. Yum. And that's it. It's really easy, guys. Super, super simple. I hope this helped get rid of the preservatives. I'm telling you, if you have inflammation, if you're ill, if you're on medication from the doctor, if you just get rid of the preservatives that they're putting in the food, you will feel 1,000 times better. And doing that does not mean that you have to eat salads 24/7. It doesn't mean that, you have to be like this model eater. You can eat things that contain sugar or contain carbs and be healthy. It's the preservatives that are the problem. If you haven't watched my video on the ingredients that are in the harvest apples and the Pillsbury dough, which would be this recipe here, go and watch that because it'll be very enlightening on what kind of preservatives are being put in our food. And I'm not even sure what they're preserving, honestly. I mean, I've been doing preservative-free food for years now, and I don't have problems with anything going bad. I mean, if anything, I would say whole foods or foods that are made at home from organic ingredients are lasting longer than preserved foods ever did. Click like, subscribe, share, and if you want to be notified of the next video, click the little notification button and it'll tell you when I upload one. Thanks for watching, and I really hope this helps. Let me know if you try it and what you thought of it.